Let's see if we can't, speaking of getting the show on the road, let's see if that's possible here.
Find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, I'm glad they know what time it is around these here parts on a Saturday evening, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, the Old Tube, or as they used to say, the Old Tired Tube Radio Network, and that is indeed what this is. If you are at Channel 11 on your CB radio, or you are perhaps at oldtuberadio.net, and some affiliated video that is going on at the moment, you are indeed at the Old Tube Radio Network, something that is happening and has been happening on this frequency on Saturday evenings for a long, long time. And that's because of you, and you, with your tube radios out there ready to check in. First, we're going to check in with the shortwave listeners, find out what's going on. It is a breezy and windy Saturday in springtime here in the Central Valley. But I think most antennas are probably still up in the air. We will see what happens. First off, let me say the skip is in, but it's not too bad, so I'll take some early check-ins. If I can hear you, OTR is listening for anybody that needs to get checked in now. Over. Oops, did I miss somebody? Say it again.
24.
All right, 24. I've got you. You're sounding good.
56.
And in the Just for Kicks category, hopefully you haven't blown down the road with this wind. You're sounding good.
Thanks, Dennis.
Get 650.
6, 5, and an O. Or maybe that's a 0. We've got it. And that guy from north of here, hello, 61, over. All right, not a problem. You are, oops. All right, that should be better. Not a problem. You can hear me now. You are checked in, over. All right, 61. We've got you, over.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
Yeah, 53 checking in there. Good evening there, Dennis.
All right, 53 sounding good here in the OTR neighborhood. We've got you checked in.
Thank you. 73.
Hey, Dennis, I love that echo you got.
Let's see. Well, there isn't supposed to be an echo. Is it bad?
Not bad at all.
All right, well, I'm looking. I don't even hear it, but if it's good, that's a good thing.
It's a Pillsbury thing.
All right, let's jump into the roll call here, and I will get 00. That's, of course, Robert and Teresa that may be in. I know there is some very extremely bad weather in certain parts of the country here with tornadoes and items of interest. So if you aren't able to connect an antenna or you need to hop in and hop out, I will try and keep an eye out on the big board here to let everybody get checked in and all of that. So I hope everybody is staying safe. The skip is moderate. I mean, it hasn't been in all day. And of course, now it is around. It always happens about 8 o'clock. We've got SWL number 1 checked in. Number 2 is right there. Mr. OBP, who is, you're at 10 pounds today. The wind is blowing you into the antenna here nicely. You're 10 pounds in good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon. In fact, I'm not even at Chestnut and Herndon. Right now, I'm at Maple and Willow because the wind is that strong. Have a proxy check-in for SWL3. Let's see if Levon is somewhere. SWL5. SWL7.
SWL7 checking in. Hey, Ed.
Hopefully you are doing good and the antennas are still up with all this wind.
Luckily, yes. So far, so good.
And that is a good thing. Thanks for jumping by the Old Tube Radio Network.
And thanks for checking me in. And hello, Joe. Yeah, I copied. We leave in the hand.
Wow, I must have my AGC on super slow. It took forever to recover from that 40 over signal down the street. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. 7 is in. Let's try way out to Sangertown. It is a bit noisy. We'll see if we can't get the Dirt Dog 982. We got Hippopotamus. He checked in last week. Chrissy is in SWL10 up there in Idaho. Hopefully we can hear you guys tonight when things settle down and the sun goes down here in the Central Valley. But right now we'll get you checked in on the board.
How about this is Dirt Dog 982 trying.
And the Dirt Dog 982, if I can make it through all the noise. Dirt Dog 982, the Old Tube Radio Network checking you in. Over.
All right, Dennis. Can you also check in my dad 97996?
I will do that. I hear you are feeling better, and it's good to hear your voice on the air. So, yeah, take care of him. Make sure he gets his chicken soup, and we will get SWL 14. Will we get your dad checked in? Over.
All right, thanks, Dennis. Have a nice night.
All right, very good. Thanks for taking care of him for us. We appreciate that. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. We've got SWL 9 is in, SWL 10 is in, and how about 11 and 12? Over. And there they is. Dapper Dan checking in, looking dapper, feeling dapper. The Dapper Dan man, SWL 12, and Mr. Cornbread. And someone did say Fresno. I saw the Fresno city sign blowing down the street here just moments ago. So it'll be in Clovis by the time they figure it out. And that might have been a crossband check-in, but it is not coming through my squelch. So if anybody got that, let me know. Let's go to SWL 13. And there's the 13. I've got you. You were sounding good, making it into the crossband here tonight. 13 is checked in, KB6GFD. Okay, and via the crossband, boy, trimming that tree did help a little bit. Now I got to get the antenna elevated, but at least getting the leaves out of the way helped. And Mikey is in on the crossband. Internet is slow tonight. We've got 14 checked in. He's listening in, but he is in the in the recuperation air chair tonight. Thank you, Sean, for listening in. 9 sounding good. Let's go around to where it's tomorrow. Or is it yesterday?
It's low again.
I got to coordinate my fingers. It's right hand and then the left hand. If I don't do it that way, it blows a fuse or does something weird. SWL 15, we'll see what's going on. SWL 16, hello, Charles, who is around these parts somewhere, probably battening down the hatches with all the wind going on. Well, yeah, the antennas are still vertical. You guys gave me a report. Oh, I see. They set up a little camera so we can keep an eye. We can keep an eye on the Starduster to make sure it's not the gravel duster in all the wind here. All right, Charlie, we got you checked in. SWL 17. SWL 18. I got a check-in for Mikey on the internet, on Facebook, actually. SWL 19 with the cue cards tonight. They closed the back door. I know it's hard to hold. It's like holding a sail in all this wind, but we've got the doors closed, so wind is not coming through. It was messing up the condenser microphone, too. Thank you, Chet, for checking in. And I think I'm supposed to proxy this guy in, but he might have made it in already. SWL 20.
Go ahead and proxy him, Dennis.
Yeah, I'll get Harvey proxied in. Let me check. Let me check. All right, having trouble keying the radio. Here we go. Who's listening in? We've got Fresno, Belfast, Maine, Derby, New York, Plymouth, Minnesota, Columbus, Ohio. Did somebody say Ohio? Edmonton, Alberta. We might get some conditions out that way. We got Seattle last week, so be listening in up there on 27085. Beautiful Lake Elsinore. We'll be checking you in. Centerville, Virginia. The unknown SWL, that's probably Harvey. Edmonds, Washington. Hello to Sacramento, San Ramon in California, Germantown, Wisconsin, and Ware Shoals, South Carolina, up in the balcony tonight, the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's continue the roll call. SWL 21, I'm going to head over. I was on earlier because I had a lot of time, which I ran out of, and I was on the wheel. I didn't make the final spin, but we're going to jump over to Old Radio Night and see if they're still beaconing the airwaves here. Hold on.
Hey, 6 VLF Friday.
Okay, I hear some audio. I still see
SWL 21, South Carolina, trying to get in there. I don't know if Dennis has got me or not.
Yeah.
SWL 21 checking in.
Here comes some more.
Come on.
953. We hear you. Carolina's sounding good. Oh, so another South Carolina's. They're doing good tonight.
Maybe he got us. I don't know. We'll see. Hang on.
Yeah, perfect. Give him a thumbs up on that one. You guys are sounding good here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let me put the page on. Should be that guy right there. They run the Gemtronics GTX 5000 varmint receive preamp JB12 Zodiac 250B reverse preamp. If you're watching the video, there's the setup. And they're on channel 11 tonight. We haven't had enough skip to hear them, but they're doing the check-in right. Thanks, guys. We've got everything. Over.
All right there, Dennis. Thank you for checking us in. 21, we standing by.
All right, back to the control room. Old Radio Night is still going on the 21s.c.youtube page. So go over there and tell them we sent you. Or maybe you're here because they sent you over here. But anyway, from coast to coast, channel 11. We're both on 11 tonight. If you're in between us, maybe you can check in live both ways. Hans, internet connection is not good here today, but it is good enough for me to see you, so let me get 15 in. I want to do the official page. Let's go to SWL 22. Shortwave listener 23. 23's good do. Last week, we were going to have Espresso Trucking Company come in at the end of the program, as it were, the end of the net, and then we got involved in Skipland. And they headed out to the popcorn machine in the snack bar, and we never hooked up. So maybe we will try that, try it again tonight. We will see what happens. Hello to Albert, the Squamish Boys, RC428, UDX256, waving, sounding and looking good, and maybe we will have some conditions here tonight. SWL 24 checked in early. And down the road a piece to SWL 25. SWL 27. Let's see what's on the snack list tonight. I always go by and I miss what they're doing over in the snack bar at the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 28. Hello, Gary. Oh, okay. Well, that's why I didn't smell anything toasty or tasty, because there were no time for snacks. They were putting up the new 60-inch TV in the green room. I noticed the Costco card was missing. I bet that's where that came from. Works great now in time. The orange knee-high. They have a whole case of those. Somebody misordered. They wanted Nesbitt's lime soda, and they mistakenly checked the box for orange knee-high. And thanks for returning the Costco card. Gary has checked in. Got a proxy check-in for SWL 29, also SWL 30, who we actually heard live and on the air last week. We hope we can do that again tonight. SWL 31. And we've got them proxy check-in. That's also 00. They may be having some weather conditions out there tonight. So if you guys are watching on the replay, on the video replay, let me look up above my head there, and you will see that 31 is checking and checked in. Stay safe out there for sure. SWL 32. And who is that suggesting the RC Cola and Moon Pies? You know, that has happened before. Gary is very good about, picking up the Bubble Up and the Abba Zabbas and all those things that we were munching on when these old tube radios were brand new. And so not only does the Net Control dress authentically, but in our snack bar and our candy machine, when you pull out the lever for 10 cents, you will get the real deal out there. So stay tuned. Let's go to SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33. That's myself and anybody else hanging around these parts in the building here that wants to check in.
I'm checking in.
And there's someone checking into the Old Tube Radio Network, streaming live at oldtuberadio.net on Channel 11 for almost 40 years. Thanks for checking in. If you've got an old tube radio, bring it by.
I'm on it, 2572. You got it.
SWL 34, we will get Jimmy checked in. Railroader, Captain Chaos.
I'm checking in. SWR 1.1. Nothing. Zero. Breaker.
All right, the Zero Breaker. And we're sounding good here in Central California. The Old Tube Radio Network streaming at oldtuberadio.net. We've got the Echo link up. The crossband radio link is up. And we'll also check in SWL 35. Mr. Bill from Cheyenne, Wyoming, listening in tonight about 30 minutes ago. Thank you, Bill, for dropping in tonight. Could have some conditions, so keep it tuned to 27085. Let's go. Oh, SWL 37. I know he is out there, unless he stepped over to the snack bar. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Dennis. SWL 37.
You are sounding good. You are making it through Skipland. No problem.
Ah, thank you. That's barefooting it.
Yeah, not a problem at all. We hear you fine business, as they say.
Thank you, Dennis.
Hawaii jumping in here. Our gray line. We'll see what happens during their gray line tonight. Let's go to SWL 38. Sam may try to do a 10-5 check-in from the Pacific Islands. Hippopotamus was in there earlier. I don't hear him now, but see what you can do. Otherwise, I'll get you checked in. SWL 39.
Sorry about that. I'm just trying to wave the hand out there.
SWL 40.
Okay, SWL 40 here. I'd like to remind everybody about the swap meet coming up this weekend at Lion Automotive in Clovis at 2944 Phillip Avenue in Clovis. There will be many items in the free pile. Heads up. This weekend starts at 7 a.m.
All right, that's probably for the vendors, but doors open at 7. You might get a deal, and the free pile is always a good thing.
Yeah, the vendors 7 a.m. And the general selling and stuff will start at 8 a.m. and there will be a serving of hot dogs for lunch.
All right, the base of hot dogs and items of interest out there at Lions Automotive out in Clovis. Hope to see you out there. I think I should be out there as well. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like, but should be a good day regardless. I don't think we're going to get a rain, so thanks for that.
Yeah, it will be a ham radio swap meet, and there'll probably be some CB radios there as well. So if you've been living under a rock and this is your first time hearing about it, there you go.
It's always good to see new faces and meet the people you've been talking to, and you never get to shake their hand. So good deal. Thanks, Larry, for that. I want to check in SWL 41. Road Dog 507 is with us tonight, as always, representing the Orange County React out there in Hudson Valley, New York. Good evening. Good evening out there. Over to SWL 42 and even SWL 43. Get a proxy check-in for 360 SWL 44. Let me see. Here we got, right up. Go down the list. UDX 4570. Yeah, the strange things happening out there in the city this week. Hopefully that's a one and done. We'll know more of that. But anyway, thanks for jumping in tonight. UDX 4570 out there in Palm Springs. Ken, UDX 111. Thanks for jumping into the old tube radio network. Foxman 362, who's been super busy. Foxman always finds to skip when it's there. This week, if you go out and check his channel, you will see contacts to Australia last night, which is easy for us to do, but out there in Knoxville, Tennessee, Australia is a double or triple hop for sure. Lots of good videos. Check them out over at Foxman 362. Frank D1 from Yellow Springs, Ohio, 6 miles from the Hamvention. And where is my email? I really liked, I jumped in earlier and took a look at some of the goodies. Now, I think you said you picked up the sonars, and you showed me some of the other stuff that is out there, the Brownings and the Demco modulators. Deal of the day, Robin T240D, Hallicrafter CB17, Lafayette Comstat 25B. No pictures on those, but if I get a chance, we'll take a look at some of the pictures going on from Dayton. I guess there's maybe one last day. Everybody is gaga about the new Yaesu radio and everything else. Who else is joining us tonight? Mark Sandquist. Matambale, hello to you. Thanks for joining us here tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network. Got a couple of early check-ins from SWL 64. Rusty Rails saying hello from Central Arkansas, checking in and disconnecting antennas. Bad weather is headed towards that area. Been going through. Hope everybody is safe. I know a couple of stations that are not checking in tonight. Let's grab Neil, 147. Well, Neil is in Kakalaki. Very quiet week on the radio. Not much skip during the day. A little late afternoon, just like here, but gone by sunset, unlike here. So we'll get Dr. Jazz 887. The Carolinas checked in 147. Mike 81, Rigsby and Doyle are watching from LaGrange, North Carolina. Let me give adjust the jacket. So if I'm on the big screen and make sure the tie so that we look good out there in LaGrange tonight. And Richard says there's no echo on the YouTube. All right, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, I know. Sometimes you can get an echo, too, if you have too many windows open on the Universal Media NetWeb. SWL 78, I saw you on my list from Lake Elsinore, and we will get you checked in. No problem. Thanks for jumping in.
I'm losing you, Dennis. Yep.
It takes a lot of coordination to do this thing right. So it's like, and I was never good at counting time. You know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 if you're Dave Brubeck. But here it's just 1, 2. And I have trouble doing that. That should be better.
That's good right there.
Good deal. All right, let me get a couple of check-ins. We got SWL 147. We'll get Neil on the board. We'll also take JZ 83 because he may have to jump out and go away. And we are continuing with SWL 145. Hello to Paul and Kelly up on the hill where it's probably breezy and dusty. Hope you are having a good weekend tonight. And the break OTR, go ahead, over. Yeah, no problem. 5-5 up the hill. We've got you checked in, over.
Thank you.
You find out where I'm at. Well, let's go to the next one on my list is showing up as SWL 47.
Well, good evening from the Radio Lounge. This is SWL 47, where we're enjoying the smell of vacuum tube radios, the great weather outside, and also the one of the smallest ham radio licensees in this home, graduating college this morning with a degree in pre-med, believe it or not. So life is good over here in the lounge.
Wow, I'll say. Well, congratulations. It is that time of year when people pick up the diplomas or go on to summer school or get a relief that they're done for a couple of months and come back. So that is great news. And thanks for sharing that. You are sounding good. And, you know, we always have a spot on the radio list if you are so inclined.
Appreciate it.
All right, the Old Tube Radio Network. Also, 47 is in. Let me go up the list. And 99, not 100, not 98, but 99 from, I don't know what the weather's doing out where you're at. It's super windy here in Central California. The big voice out there on 75 meters, jumping up here to Class D, 11 meter. Although he's got Randy 99 has got radios that do have the 11-meter band back before it was Class D. So you know there might be no crystal control and a little bit more than 5-watt DC input, but they'll fire up, and we're hoping to hear some coming up. Anyway, Randy, let me, did I get you? Yeah, you're right up there, right above my head. Thanks for jumping in here tonight. All right, direct net roll call. I think I got everything set up. Let's go back to the list to SWL 48, SWL 49.
Hey, hello there, Dennis. Mr. Smitty, the 49er, along with Sweet Country Mama, checking in, waving hands in all directions. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, and we very much appreciate the check-in. Got the barbecue running, so we got to make this short and go tend to that. Hey, take care, and again, thanks for the check-in there, Dennis.
All right, sounding good. Good audio, and yeah, I got to keep the burgers and the hot dogs and the chicken from blowing down the road tonight. So it's looking good. Thanks for joining us here on your Old Tube Radio Network.
See ya.
Over to, let's try SWL 51. I had a good chat with Dave up on channel 305, up on channel, was it 15, 13? I don't remember where we were, but Skip was kind of coming in, rolling in. He's got his density dialed in. Hello, 51.
Hello, Dennis. Yeah, I didn't get it to where I wanted to, but it's always a work in progress, as you know. Anyways, take it easy now. Thank you for the check-in.
All right, it's good to have some extra controls to play with, and it's kind of fun. It's like adjusting the radio without taking off the top, and it does make a difference when it gets out the SO239 in the back. Thanks for checking in.
10-4, have a good evening.
SWL 52, Aaron checked in mobile. I think that's how we say it on the radio. Mobile from 180, the 180 freeway. He was sounding good. We've got Aaron checked in. And I can't remember if we got the legend early, but if not, it's your turn, SWL 53. I think he checked in at the beginning of the net here, so not a problem. We've got a proxy check-in for 54. 55 checked in moments ago. And likewise 56. I need 3 hands to do this. The way I'm doing it tonight. SWL 57. Who is 57? That's Mr. Brown Dog Audio out in central Kentucky. I wonder what the weather's like out there tonight. Private Thor's, that's on your wish list, the Yaesu FTX1. I saw the line at the Hamvention. They had a video of the people standing in line at one of the, I don't know, it was DX Engineering or HRO, waiting to pick up the many boxes of the FTX1. So we'll see how they like them. If you're a dyed-in-the-wool ICOM fan and you've got a 705, maybe not the radio for you, but you're looking for something with a little possibility to do some extras, that might be the item. Over to, did I say, yeah, SWL 57, SWL 58. Heard a crossband, but I'm not sure who that was. Let's go to SWL 59. Uncle Hairball was in early. He was over at Old Radio Night. I don't remember seeing him on the spinning wheel, but he's right here, checking in right now. Thank you there, 59. You know, I was getting dizzy. JT was making me dizzy spinning that wheel, so I'm kind of glad that I got thrown off earlier rather than later. Can't get my list to work. Let's try this guy. Hello, Joe, SWL 60.
Hello, Dennis. Doggone it, I hope we're making the trip. SWL 60 checking in and saying hello to everyone out there on the band.
And hello right back. We've got some spots for you on the radio list if you are around. That's coming up in about 15 minutes or so at the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis.
Got a little bit of wind. Usually I like to have a little bit of breeze coming through. There's so much wind it would mess up the condenser microphonium. SWL61 Dino checked in a little bit earlier. Let's go out to SWL62. Shortwave listener 63. Was it 70? No, 80 in Knoxville today. That's almost the weather too good to be indoors with the radio, unless you can, put up the picnic table outside and bring the cameras out there, 362, and do the program from outdoors if it's not too windy. Let's go to SWL 64. Craig checked in earlier. We got him in. SWL 65. SWL 66. SWL 67. I'm looking for Bill. He checked in about 20 minutes ago from Canby, Oregon. Who else is joining us? Who just came in the door up there? Berkeley, California, home of KPFA. Know that station well. In Southport, North Carolina. Welcome to you. Let's 67, SWL 68. SWL 69. Kenny checked in earlier. I got Kenny out in Tulsa. Here's a station I talked to last night, even on Wednesday. He's got a good signal. Now that he's got situated up at the new ranch, got some altitude and get the antennas up, always sounding good. SWL 70.
Hello, Dennis 70 checking in. I know I heard you guys, but I know anyway. Hey, you going to the Fresno Amateur Radio Club swap meet Saturday?
I don't think I have to work. I don't think we have any special concerts going on. Some other projects that are going on now are supposed to be done by then, so it is actually on my list of things to do.
Cool. I'm going to try to make it also. I'm not sure what all is going to be there, but it's been a while, so perhaps we'll see you. I don't think I've seen you face to face in like a couple of years at least.
It has probably been at one of the FARC meetings, which I have trouble getting to because they're on Fridays when I work late. So that's probably where it was. And it might have been at the one where you were giving the talk on going portable and had the Elecraft there. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah, like a long, long time ago. All right, cool. Yeah, maybe we'll see you there. Anyway, thanks very much for checking me in. Thanks very much for all you do. You always say, well, all the different hosts been doing this stuff for 30 whatever years, and you've been doing it for what, the last 20 plus at least, right?
Well, I don't know. I've lost track, but I was thinking about the names of the people that sat in the air chair. We had the rotation going on every week between Kevin and Jim and Rob and Ed and Fred and Les and Dee, and I'm probably forgetting a few. I think Richard did it once, and Wanda did it once, and back in the days when I was working at the TV station on Saturday evenings for like 6 months, and I couldn't do it at all, and I would take my walkie-talkie out to Channel 30, and I would climb up the ladder and go up to the out on the roof and extend my antenna and check in on the walkie-talkie. So it's been a long road here.
You're doing awesome, man. I know I moved up from SoCal in 07. Not SoCal, no, 96. I moved up into this area, Prather area in 07. That's when I kind of got back into radio and stuff. So it was probably around 08 or so when I stumbled across the OTR. So anyhow, appreciate very much all you do, Dennis. 70, have a great evening.
All right. If it wasn't fun, I guess we wouldn't be doing it. And 35, 40 years ago, there were a lot of people on a lot of channels. 11 was just one of the many. And now sometimes it's like this is where the noise is on a Saturday, as you tune around, and albeit for maybe a 38 lower, there's not much going on, and maybe an Art Bell podcast on Channel 14. It's amazing how in that 20 or 30 years things have really changed on the two-way radio. So we will wax poetic about that later, but I think that's one of the reasons that this works so well. Is it's something you can count on when you still have the radio sitting on the table. It's like, well, I know I can I turn the key and start this thing up at least for 5 minutes once a week. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for checking in.
7-3.
Direct Net roll call. We're on page 3. We're heading towards the radio check-ins. Out to Dallas, Georgia. Checking in with SWL 71 Stan. He might have jumped in early. I don't see him on my refresh page. Doesn't mean he's not there. He's usually busy. I think he is a volunteer examiner coordinator and is a lot of times working the room, making sure that people can upgrade and add 10, 12, 15, and 20 meters to their 11-meter antennas, and that's a good thing. So we'll get Stan checked in. Let's go to SWL 72. And the break OTR, go ahead, over. Okay, that's an early check-in. Was that 195? Who was checking into OTR, over? Who is the station checking into OTR, over? 111. All right, you're making it through to Wrigley. I heard you on the two-way earlier, but it was on my delay, so the time I got back, I think you were off. But 111, I hear you direct, over. And if you're listening on the Universal Media Network, we got you. Sounding good direct. 111, Robert, we got you. And that's through the skip. That's pretty good. And called SWL 72. How about SWL 73? Okay, we'll get 73 checked in. I'm not sure what kind of contests are going on. Probably not one he would be in. SWL 74. SWL 75, 356 BYU Hello Radio. SWL 76. SWL 77. SWL 78, Richard checked in from Wild. Is it windy like it is here out in Wildemar? Lake Elsinore area. Got you checked in, Richard. SWL 79 live. If not, we've got the X in the square. Got a Facebook check-in for Philip over there at the Central Valley Sea Beers. Let's go to SWL 80. I think that means I need to turn the page. SWL 81. SWL 82. Now, last night, Ron warned me that he may have something going on, and indeed he does. Ron Bones, the voice of the Ditch Banks sideband net. You can tune in easily on a Friday evening, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on 36 lower 27365. He's got a great antenna and a great station. And once he checks everybody in, if you're not on the list, just like here, you don't have to be on the list. He'll get you checked in and say hello, radio. So I've got to check in for 82 at the Ditch Banks sideband net on Friday evenings, right here in Central California. SWL 83 JZ checked in earlier. I'll put the X in the square once again. If I can get my computer to work, let's do Everybody here. Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and Snowy Owl, 84, 86, 87, and 88. I didn't get a chance to stop by the Jefferson Noontime Net, but no doubt Jerry was running his old tube radio, his Swan and sounding good on 7204. Let's go to SWL 89, SWL 90, SWL 91. Mr. Felix, were you on the wheel, Felix, like I was? I think you were, but see, Felix, he's been the top dog on the old Radio Night spinning wheel. I was going to ask him how you do it. What's the secret for doing that? The secret for doing that is to be the last station on the wheel, and then it's easy, right? He's good at this. He's also been double zero a couple of times, so he knows his stuff. Might have to hit him up for some lottery numbers. All right, we got you checked in, Felix. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. SWL 92. Where is Mr. Roman? I haven't seen him in a while. And the big sound, I think it's out of Clovis, SWL 93.
Evening time there, Dennis. 93 STD checking in. Hope you guys have a good rest of the evening.
We are trying to stay bolted down to the ground here, not blown away with the wind. I haven't checked. You know, when we have these big winds, they have the I-5 dust storms and all that, and haven't had much rain. So hopefully they're not getting any big dust blowouts out there on the west side. But you are sounding good here in Midtown. We got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Hope everybody has an awesome night and a great rest of the weekend. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thanks for being out there. Nice audio, as always. SWL 95. And let's see. I may pick up Kurt direct at 96, so we won't have a clog up on the Echo Link. But I do want to say hello to, and I'm surprised that he might not be out at Dayton. The answer is blowing in the wind. So you look behind you. It says.
Have a good evening. Number.
All right, something didn't latch up. There we go. The answer is blowing in the wind, and that is indeed Peter, Paul, and Mary, and a few SWLs outside the window. 007 Extreme CB is checking in. I don't know. I thought you might be out there at Dayton trying to pick up some of the good stuff. I was getting some pictures from the swap meet, and there was actually some really nice looking, and maybe some not so nice looking 11-meter Class D stuff, but you may have a pile of it already. Here's the guy, 27085 megahertz, extremecb.com. And Frank is saying, hello, radio. And he's going back down into the bunker. All right, let me try. I got to make sure I'm on the right situation here. Let's see if we can't do an Echo Link. We'll look for W9KEC from KB6GFD. Hello, Kurt. Over. See if we can get Kurt on. Unkey. There we go. Now we can do it. I have to unkey or they can't key up on the Echo Link.
Have a good evening, Dennis. KB6GFD in the net from Whiskey 9 Kilo Echo Charlie. It's been an abysmal week for conditions in Kokomo, Indiana. I mean, abysmal. If this gives you any kind of clue, the majority of my contacts have been on 17, and that hasn't been many. So, but we're out here trying. And Dennis, if you check your email, I sent you a couple of pictures of the new shack. one of the radio and then one of my custom dust cover I had made for it. So, anyways, I'll get out of here. Thanks so much for taking the net. Thanks everybody who's checked in and listening, and we'll see you all next week. KB6 GFD in the net, Whiskey 9 Kilo Echo Charlie, over.
All right, am I back on? I'd say, there we go. Let me key up here. All right, sounds good. I will check the email for that. And yeah, it's been all bands, 40 meters on up, have been pretty wacky. So if you can find some DX, go for it. If not, then go on the ground wave. Looking good, sounding good. Thanks for checking in on the Echo Link 73, KB6 GFD.
Whiskey 9 Kilowatt Echo Charlie, clear and QSY to the chat.
All right, got the wind police doing some stuff out here. Let's see if Jim is listening out there in Boston, SWL 97. Too many mouses, too many Mises to click around here. SWL 98, I will get Tracy checked in. Looking good out there at the Facebook Central Valley Sea Beers, and also right here, right now on the old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in. SWL 99, you heard Radio Randy moments ago from Cape Creek, Arizona, checking in. He's going to be listening in case we get some skip conditions. It's Sherlock Ohms out there in beautiful northern Minnesota joining us tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks. And then we will jump back over into the link of Echo Link and see if we can't get the tubes on the air activated. And that, of course, is with Tony out of McClellanville, South Carolina. KD4BAO from KB6 GFD, over.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Sounding good as usual. And I have no traffic for net. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
Our output is low.
All right, I think I've linked back up on the Echo Link. All right, very good. Thanks, Tony. Always good to hear the reports out of McClellanville, South Carolina. You are sounding good, and hopefully there are conditions somewhere out there for you. Thanks for jumping in. 73, KB6 GFD. All right, we're going to catch one more. Let me catch one more on the Echo link here, and that's Al out in Nevada. Take a transmission if you dare there. KI6CBA, KB6GFD, over.
Hello, Dennis. Oh, my modulation meter is working really good. Hey,
sounding good.
It's fun to listen to the OTR network. Yeah. I'm watching it on
watching me trying to do this
part of the net, and talking to you on the Echo Link, which I think is working absolutely perfectly. And it's just fun to be with you and the listeners. So I'm gonna check out, and you can give me a little report on how it sounds.
I think I'm still on. Yeah, it sounds good. Your audio is good. I can do some adjusting here, so you're definitely within my range, and whatever microphonium you're using is doing the, as they say on 11 meters, doing the JOP. Thanks for joining us tonight, and good to have you aboard. So 73, Albert from KB6 GFD, over.
And KB6GFD from Galactic CBA. It's over from me for right now, but I'm going to listen to the radios that come on old tube radio. So I'm signing out. Nice.
All right, 73 to you. And let's try, we're on the Echolink. I see 78 is on there. So, Richard, if you're going to take a quick transmission to make sure everything is working, we'll get you officially checked in. See what we can do. KA6JMM, KB6GFD, over.
Hey, man, it looks some 89 skid set, 296, number 7, the big day.
And if we have audio, we'll have video. How about, okay, now here's someone coming in. Harvey, if you're listening, I see you there. Let's give it a try. I don't know where you're at, and if it's safe to key up, go ahead. And you might be driving, so it might not work, but we'll see if we can get you. W6OTR, KB6GFD, go ahead.
I got 66 over here,
KB6GFD, W6OTR. Yeah, I'm up here in Modesto area. Just finished, headed back. And I don't know if I'm going to quite make it unless you guys are going to be on till about 10:15, 10:30, something like that. So I decided to try this. If I don't get back, next week is the swap meet.
Yes.
I'll have at least 3 radios at the swap meet that I'm bringing.
That's here in Fresno. You're in Clovis.
Golden Eagle R68, T68, and 2 Browning Golden Eagle Mark IIs. And they're the basic Mark IIs, receiver and transmitter, not the AM transmitter, no extra stuff with them. The R68, T68 has a banana mic that will go with it. The other 2, the 2 Mark IIs, no mic with them right now. So, but I'm going to bring all 3 radios. Anyway, Dennis, I'm going to get on the road. I don't think I'm going to try and listen while I'm driving, so we'll see what's doing.
That's the easy part.
Thanks for the old buzzer check-in on Echolink.
He does it no matter what.
KB6GFD, W6OTR, Old Tube Radio.
All right, I'll make a not an old buzzer transmission for that. All right, thanks for the update on what's going on Saturday. We know about that. Sounds like some good stuff out there. So locally, if you're looking to add or start an old tube radio position at your Radio Shack, this would be a good way to do it. Pick it up locally, no shipping charges or anything like that. Okay, Harvey, drive carefully. If you can safely get us tuned in and drive that way, we'll be talking about you. We'll be talking at you. So 73, and thanks for checking in. You're looking good, and you did it right. 73, KB6GFD.
W6OTR. I'll give it a try. Okay, take care. W6OTR.
I tell you, there's unkey and there's all sorts of skip land going on. Anyway, 102, thanks for being, there was a virtual, I felt like an air traffic controller. It's a virtual flyover stack of Echolink people checking in from afar. We got them all, so thanks for being patient out there in Scranton, Arkansas. You are looking good. And we've got the X in the square for 102. And I managed to kind of not break anything. Let me continue on. The RectaNet roll call. The radios will be coming up, so don't go away. SW103 Joey out there in South Carolina, Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray checked in at oldtuberadio.net. From beautiful upstate South Carolina. Thanks, Joey. We got you checked in. And S9 Radio, hello, Greg, checking in. WikiWack, Big Bear Mountain, hoping for sporadic E. Well, we had some longer hops last week, up to Idaho, Washington. So keep your ears peeled. We didn't have a lot of heat, not a lot of heat in the valley. So sometimes that makes a difference, I think. But Looking at some eCloud action, you never know. Anyway, enjoying the updates on the videos when you have a chance to do them. Always very informative. And yeah, someday I'm going to get, I was looking at my couple of stacks. I've got a Imperial 2, Regency Imperial, get those maybe on the bench here in a couple of months. And you know I'll be checking with S9 Radio saying, what do I need to do? Anyway, thanks, Greg, for joining us this evening, and keep on listening here at 27085. Joey's checked in 103. Let's go up the hill, although he might not be able to hear me through the noise. SWL 109. Hello, Crawdad.
766, number 2, 10 cruising, east side, Honolulu. I see you, we on the side.
SWL 109, 109.
Good evening, Dennis. It's kind of hard to hear you through the skip. I think I heard you say 109, but yeah, this is 109 Crawdad looking for a check-in.
All right, no problem. Crawdad sounding good. 109 is checked in. Thanks for being patient at the microphonium and listening through the skip. You are in. We've got you checked in 73.
Thank you, Dennis. And when I can hear you through the skip, you're definitely sounding good tonight.
All right, there it is. That's a way to talk DX, kind of just peeking through the holes in the fence, like watching a baseball game on the sly. Let's go to SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert checked in live 2 meters, live on the crossband, live on the 11-meter side, so he's in. SWL 113. SWL 114.
Showing up, sir. 114, checking in.
114, Wayne, good to hear you. You always break through the skip with no problem, and I've got the X in the square over.
All right, Dennis, thank you for the check-in.
That takes us up to SWL 128, John, who is in Fairfax, Virginia, and is listening, checking in about an hour ago from Foreland and SWLing somewhere. Thanks, John, for checking in. SWL 131, shortwave listener 133, shortwave listener 135.
Hello. If this thing is working, this is SWL 135 checking in.
And it is still working, so keep the post-it on it, keep the tubes warm, and we'll be checking in, talking to you in a couple of minutes. Shortwave listener 137. SWL 145, Tony.
When you come back out there, 296, I'll catch you later. 481, Shaka Wave, Deuce,
I think I heard Tony. I got you checked in up in Corsica. It's a little bit noisy tonight. I'm checking for, I got to find them, the questions here. And here they are. Get the questions quickly here. Number one, according to some sources, what radio was the Heathkit SB100 reverse engineered from? Okay, this is something I don't know. I know the SB100, they're sort of sideband radios. So according to some sources, what radio was the Heathkit SB100 engineered from? And the choices are the KW Electronics KW1000, the Collins KWM2, the Yaesu FT101, the Hallercrafters SX110. Well, the SX110, SB100, I don't know. I think that's a receiver. That's a trick question. The 101 was after the fact. The KW1000, I'm not sure what that is. I would go with the Collins. I mean, if you're going to reverse engineer anything, you want it. If you're going to reverse engineer anything, you want to start with the good stuff and work your way back. So I'm going to go with Collins KWM2. William Curtis says the Collins. And the answer would be indeed the Collins KWM2. But it was just a rumor. And who knows what lurks in the evil minds of the dudes and dudesses over at Heathkit when they're putting something together and in the U-build mode. All right, good deal, Bill, on that one. And Ron is saying, was there any way to get a shack tour? Well, the way I'm breaking things tonight, I'll have to see. I might be able to take the little portable S-meter cam, which is never good, and maybe do something that way. That would be pretty awful, wouldn't it? A cleanup. I've got to clean up. They're shaking their heads. You'd have to sweep the floor if you're going to do a shack tour. All right, question number 2. Question number 2 is, what famous amateur radio operator invented a firearm silencer bearing his name? All right, and of course, we're not going to get any help with this. I've heard rumors. It's on the tip of my tongue because there was a guy way, way back. Let's go like 1910, 1914, in that era, that started the ARRL. Is that what it was? W1AW? That guy. So that would be my clue. Bob Silencer. No. Tombole. Bob Silencer is wrong. I'll tell you right off the bat. The answer is Hiram Percy Maxim. Yeah, the Maxim silencer. Does anybody know that? I don't know my silencers. I buy them at Target, and they're not very silent, and they're not made by Hiram Percy. But that's the guy. Look up, do a search for Hiram Percy, and he's into a lot of radio stuff. And I guess after he got done with the silencer, he said, it's so quiet in here. And then he just decided to get into radio, where it's a spark gap and lots of noise. Mad Maxim. There you go. All right, let's go on to SWL 47. Neil checked in. Bobby, if you're out there, check in through the skip, SWL 188. Got to get my tube radio list back here. I'm going to go up the hill. I think he may have checked in early, but maybe not. If you can hear me up in Course Gold, SWL 195, over. Up in Course Gold 195, the voice of reason and the station that just, it's like a Timex watch, just it keeps on ticking. You're sounding good tonight, Jim, as always, and you're making it through the skip. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you much, Dennis.
Just reminds me, and then someone, I think it was Mike, was talking about how we've been doing this for a long time, and where I might have been if I'm in the air chair or I'm in my walkie-talkie on the roof of some building, or checking in or doing what. And it's just nice to know some of these voices, a lot of these voices, have been on the air for a long time, and they have been checking in since almost day one, or maybe before day one. That's a long time to jump in every week for 40 years or so on the old Tube Radio Network. So hopefully wherever you are, wherever you're listening, there is something like that going on, or you have a group that is still happening, because that is, I think, the fun of just two-way radio and the mystery of it all. And it's just, once you get the bug, once you get to the sickness, it's hard to give it up. Let's go over to Shockwave, SWL 226. I think I saw Jeff checking in at oldtuberadio.net. So anyway, Jeff, we'll get you checked in. And is there, oh man, time flies when you're having fun. Anybody else? And then we're going to get to the tube radios here in about 2 minutes. All right, well, the skip is fading out. We'll see if we get the second hop, but in the meantime, it will be smooth sailing for your tube radios. I'm going to jump out, connect a few wires, and I will be back with your tube radios, doing what we do best here at the old Tube Radio Network, what we're supposed to be doing, what we get paid for, if we were to get paid. We'll be right back. That'll help. I promise I will learn how to use my radio. All right. That Skipland doesn't want to go away, does it? But we are right here, the Old Tube Radio Network.
On your TV, because in case you did not know,
How could you not know?
OTR. 27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
The Old Tube Radio Network right here in Central California with a little bit of skip rolling in from the Pacific, Hawaii, Australia, as it often does during our gray line hours here on the West Coast. And likewise, there's, hello, Dennis, back again for the part of the net here that is got the name, the Old Tube Radio Network. We're streaming at oldtuberadio.net. Also a video link, or if you can join us live, 27085. Bring your tube radio, won't you? OTR is standing by listening for any and all check-ins.
135, 135.
All right, I'm trying to go a little bit slower here so that I can coordinate all the pieces and parts that need to go in the proper order. And here we go. One heard. For radios, we've got a lot of room on the list tonight. So don't fret if we don't have you now. We will get you. Cliff, talked to you earlier. We did a little pre-testing with some microphoniums, and I think you have brought them out so we can do it live and direct and maybe get some audience SWL feedback on the microphones. But anyway, over to you, sir, and tell us what you're on and what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, things do not appear to be working correctly. So if they are in fact working correctly, you let me know. Something seems very weird. This one is from Waseca, Minnesota, and it's the Johnson, the first of the Johnsons is the Johnson Viking Messenger, also known as the Messenger 1. It has 5 channels, transmit and receive, crystal controlled. That's it. On-off volume and squelch. Not a whole lot to this radio, but if I'm not mistaken, this was the first of the Johnsons to enter into the CB fray. You'll find information about it in Sam's CB volume number 1. And, oh yeah, the microphone here. This microphone is the, I have 2 original microphones, believe it or not. They were issued with both kinds of mics. I don't know why. But this one here was made by a Static. but it has the little Johnson Viking head in the meatball in the middle. It's the little ice cream cone shaped microphone, a very small ice cream cone. And for audio purposes, yeah, I would like to put the other original microphone on it for comparison.
And we will do that. The Johnson Messenger series, the Viking. I brought up an old ad. This is probably from the early 60s, and it's showing in the forefront the Viking Messenger one, which you have. And we're going to ask you about, a lot of the pictures show that red surround on the knobs. The one I have does not have that. So I don't know if it was an overlay or some paint that rubbed off or whatever. It is showing the static ice cream cone style microphonium clipped to the side and hardwired into the radio. Also shows in the background the Messenger TWO. We'll talk about that later because we might get one checking in. And in the background is what would be, were there to be a female counterpart for Net Control, she would be dressed like that. I know I'm in my best seersucker suit, and she's got the chiffon with the scarf and lots of hairdo and makeup, and is properly holding the Johnson walkie-talkie. But back in the day, people don't believe that. This is how people dressed to get on the radio. It was just something you did. Audio sounds good. You're already getting a lot of good comments on the audio, so we want to do a microphonium swap. We can do that. But come back again with another transmission. Over.
Okay. I don't know if this is doing anything different. Like I say, the radio acts weird in this mode. But this is the Johnson dark gray plastic handheld microphone, kind of coffin-shaped. I think they call it the coffin microphone. I'm not sure who makes this. It doesn't say anywhere on it. Like I say, I know Astatic makes the ice cream cone one, but I'm not sure who made this one. This is still hardwired into the bottom front of the radio, but Harvey made a little pigtail thingy to stick out so I can swap microphones. How about this mic? How does it sound?
Sounds good. It's a little mellower. I think loudness-wise, I've got the Orban meter up, and I think you're about the same. Sometimes you get a little more high-frequency component on the microphones. It'll appear that you sound louder than you are. If that doesn't make any sense, but sounds good. We've got the actual radio now. It's a big silver box, like a loaf of Wonder Bread or Langendorf or whatever, that helps build. Back in that, you could still build strong bodies 12 ways before they figured out there was only 8 and probably not even 2. Shows the front. It's got the two little lights that are, if I remember, the covers for those are sort of jeweled, diamond cut types of things. They don't do much. I think one tells you that you're on the air and the other one might blink at you a little bit. And this radio also has the red surrounds on the dial. So come back with another transmission on the microphone. But I don't know. This one is good for rag chew. This one does not sound bad at all. Over.
Okay, I wanted to hear both of them for myself. Larry said he liked this one better. Mine does not. I forgot to mention. Yeah, I do not have the cool red surround thingies around the dials and the cool painted Viking head. I'm not sure what the deal was with all that. If like this run had it and some other run of them didn't. I think they made these for a while, and mine is just kind of all chrome. This one does not have the cool paint job. Hello. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm getting an awful lot of audio out. Oh, and the lights. Yes, the light crystals, if you will, are faceted. The top one is the red flashing modulation light. The one below is an amber colored. It's just on all the time. It lets you know your radio has been turned on. And if you got it plugged into your car, because this also goes 12 volts, then you might want to turn it off and save your car battery. Back to you.
Yeah, in fact, you just brought up something that I forgot to mention. There were 3 models of this, and you could tell the model. I just changed the picture. The picture we're showing now is the Johnson Messenger mounted in a mobile. You could run it mobile at 6 volts. You run at 12 volts. You run at 115 volts. It looks like the dashboard of a 1959 or a 1960 Lincoln Continental, which by that time I'm sure was probably 12 volts. But if you had like a 55 Ford or something, which at the time these radios came out would have been only about 4 years old, then the 6 volt is the one you would grab. Audio sounds good. So if you want to go ahead and change the microphone back, that way you'll have another test. I'm looking. Messenger 134.95. So these were the affordable radios back in 1959, 1960, 62 for under $150. Of course, you got one channel, pretty bare bones, but that got you on the air. So we'll go back to you. I'm not sure if you're changing microphones. If not, I will stand by. E.F. Johnson, Edgar F. I think we talked about Edgar and his 1920-something start in the radio business. And here we are 100 years later. Over to you.
Yeah, just saying.
And he's changing back to the microphone, I can tell.
Yeah, could you see me doing that? There, did I get it back on correctly?
Yeah, it is there. No lids, no kids, no space cadets. Take a transmission.
Okay, yeah, back to the ice cream cone type microphone. It should be interesting to hear the difference between them. Yeah, the radio seems to operate the same way with both mics, but I'm sure the elements are very different in size. This one has a much smaller sized element than the other one. I'm not sure how much difference it makes. Back to you.
It's quite a bit of difference. This microphonium has no low end per se. It's more mid range and high frequency. It shows a little bit higher on the loudness meter, but that's because of the high frequency in the audio. I think the other one is a much better standard rag chew mic, but I have a feeling this might be better if it's really, really noisy because it cuts out the low frequency component. But I think you sound more natural on the other one. If you recall, when you were on this microphone, when Larry thought you were Skipland coming in, because you were actually acting like Skipland, but it changed your voice enough to fit the bill. Philip saying, might be listening to us in Utah right now. Hawaii's taking us out, but the band is opening up. So hopefully you can hear the replay and see which one you like. They both work fine. It could be a matter of coolness. I don't know which one is easier to use, but the ice cream cone mic, the ice cream cone style mic looks cool, but it might be a pain in the you-know-what to key up.
It's actually kind of painful because it's a tiny, hard, spring-loaded little plastic switch on the side, and it really digs into your thumb while you're holding it here. It's a very strong spring. I mean, here we are, more than 65 years later, and the spring on this thing is still good and strong. So yeah, this is kind of literally a pain to use. But again, it looks really cool, and I kind of like it. It's got the Viking head in the middle, which is one of my favorite parts of the radio. It's like I've got dual Vikings here, Dennis. I've got a Viking on the microphone and a Viking on the radio. Get a few of these together and we can go raid some villages. What do you think?
I think it might work until, well, whatever. I've got a shot of the microphone. There's another microphone. It looks like the original one might have been a teardrop-shaped cream color microphone. I know the one I have has that other, it's a darker style E.F. Johnson microphone with the side push-to-talk bar that's really, really long. So I can't remember which one you said you had. I don't think it was the teardrop shape for microphone number 2, right?
Yeah, right. That's just as you described. It's extremely dark gray, has a black coily cord on it. I think they used to call it, in the old days when we were doing this, the coffin-shaped microphone. And yeah, like you said, it's got a very, very long, almost the entire length of the side of the microphone push-to-talk lever on it. And again, very, very dark gray. Whereas this one here, you've seen the Aesthetic ice cream cone types, and it's got the light gray coily cord on it. Both were issued with these radios, and I just wanted to have both.
Very good. I've got a close-up. So were it to come out of the box, it seems like, and I've seen this in the pictures, there was a red surround. It could have been painted in. It could have been an applique type of thing between both of the volume and the squelch knobs. That's the other thing. That's always, and Joe mentioned this, and I had the problem before that the squelch, the on-off was on the squelch. You had to make sure you turned something the right way, or else you think the radio is dead because you've got the squelch misadjusted. And then on the Johnson head logo, the Viking head logo under the Johnson or above the EF Johnson, it looks like they actually there's a little insert on the J that goes across the Viking head. And part of it is the lower part of the J, and that has a red insert on the blob there, and then above that on the stem of the J also has a red insert. So there it is. And then I suppose they're showing the lights, they got this colored in because I've never seen a light glow like that on the Messenger. They're just very very dim.
Well, yeah. And as I understand it, I have seen a couple of those, and they were painted in enamel. The rings around the knobs and the Viking head were all done in very nice enamel. It's very nice stuff, and I still don't know why they did some of them and didn't do others. Hey, if somebody else out there knows, like did they just get tired of it, and like for the third or fourth run of these, they decided not to do it, or just what was going on with their heads. I have no idea.
My guess is when you look at the radio full on, it's pretty plain. It's just a big chrome box. They added the color with the light surrounds, the amber and the red. So I think they just had to add a little bit of extra color on the thing, so it might look nice in your Lincoln Continental or up on the shelf, or maybe you could convince the XYL to bring it into the living room somehow. You're not bringing that thing in here, so I don't know. Radio number 1, EF Johnson Messenger, the EF Johnson Viking Messenger, the Messenger 1, the Viking, like Cliff mentioned in Sam's photo fax number 1, when the FCC banged the gavel late in 1958 and said, it's Class D time, folks. 5-watt DC input and all sorts of other restrictive rules, and license with no test, no idle chit-chat, blah, blah, blah. This was one of the radios you could go out and get just months later. There weren't too many, but a lot of manufacturers got on the bandwagon quickly. EF Johnson was already there. All they had to do was tone down their radios that weighed 85 pounds and put out 100 watts and put a receiver in, and they did. Sounds good. Back to you for transmission. Thanks for getting us started out, and hopefully you can listen in on the replay and decide for yourself the microphonium du jour.
Okay, thank you very much for indulging me with that, and I will do exactly that. I hadn't checked this thing in a little over a year, so yeah, I wanted to bring it out, and I haven't checked in the 223 since August, so I might go ahead and do that one next week. We'll have to see. Thanks for letting me check it in. We'll see you next week.
Indeed. And then next week, I'm hoping we will have a couple of new check-ins because there are going to be some radios available here locally for sale at the swap meet, and they all work really well, and they'll be ready to go, and just take them and plug them in and get on the air. So for anybody thinking like, hey, I could get on the air, it'll be easy to do next week with the stuff that's going to be for sale. All right, they're saying stop talking, and I will agree with that. Let's give the Jingle Singers a little bit of airplay, and then we'll stand by to see if we don't have yet another radio for your listening pleasure. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
Want to go back to the control room here. How's the wind doing? Look in the window back there. It's still blowing pretty good. Oh, you know, we might have hey, Google, what's the weather tomorrow? Here we go.
Tomorrow in Fresno, it'll be sunny with a high of 80 and a low of 58.
High of 80 and a low of 58. It's where it's going now. The Old Tube Radio Network listening.
60.
Hey, Joe, you found a microphone. It hasn't blown down the street, I guess. It's still there.
Yeah, the station's still here, but I guarantee you they're hanging on by the cord. Dennis, I'd like to check in my E.F. Johnson. My E.F. Johnson, blackface, awesome, messenger 2.
All right, thank you for going in chronological order. Let me add the radio to the picture here. The radio that we just heard from Cliff was the Messenger, Viking Messenger 1, the white face. Now here, if you remember the radio, it was all solid chrome in the front. It got the name of the white face, even though it wasn't white. It was reflective silver. And then when this one came out, that Joe's going to be talking on here. Let me get a shot of it here. There we go. They put that black speaker grill. And so to designate easily, they called it the blackface and added a couple of things, like a couple of channels and some better receive selectivity, I think. And it's sounding pretty good. Over to you.
Well, Dennis, on this end, we've got 10 channels. And according to the paperwork here,
Oops, I think the radio dropped down. Hi, Joe. I'm not sure if you unkeyed. I think the radio dropped out. I'm not the only one that has wacky issues. Anyway, we're waiting for Joe to come back. And if you're unkeying, we didn't hear you. The radio dropped out right at the beginning. Maybe it dropped power. It's 23 channels tunable on the receive. There's a little rotate the dial, and the number, sort of the channel number, will come up in the screen, I think. 10 channel transmit or receive. You had to be crystal control on the transmitter. Excellent adjacent channel rejection, which the Viking Messenger 1 did not have. Improved noise limiter circuit, although it was built in. I don't think it was switchable. And a plug-in provision for a tone alert selective calling system, which we have, demoed on the Old Tube Radio Network before. And back in the days when there was a lot of skip, you had to keep your radio down if you wanted to use it the way it's supposed to be used, so you could just talk to the station you were supposed to be talking with. All right, Joe, are you back? Because your radio did cut out. Over. All right. Well, hopefully you didn't have a power failure over there from the wind. That's another possibility. Sometimes a tree branch, when it's this windy, a tree branch will hit some power lines and shut the power down. So you never know. We've got you down for radio number 2. I'll stand by, And if we don't hear Joe for a while, we know he had some PG&E things going on. We'll have to check the PG&E chart to see if there are power outages. Anyway, we are listening at the Old Tube Radio Network. All right, Joe, you're back. As you obviously know, you lost power or something on the E.F. Johnson 2. Over.
We might want to check that cord. We might want to check it. Things were functioning in here, but I'll keep that or put that meter in place, the modulation meter there, so we know what's going on. Dennis, this is my Robin 23. My Robin the T123B.
All right, we'll make a quick switch over to the Robin. We did get. Oh. See, now I'm having problems. We did get the Messenger 2 checked in. You made a good transmission there for a couple of times, so we wanted to get that official. So now we will go to Radio 3, and you said it was the Robin, but I didn't get the model number. I think it's the 123 Bravo. Over.
Yes, sir, Dennis. The Robin T123B, 11 tubes, all 23 channels plus. This does have a little kit in there, so we get an extra few channels to it. And this one, I can tell that we're on the air. Our modulation light's working, and a few other lights beside it are on while we're transmitting. Dennis, the backside does have a meter adjustment. It does have a slot built in for tweak and peak a little bit. That's also on there. And you've also got your PA speaker hookup, which is the big jack, not the small one. I thought it was a headphone jack at first. It's so big. Your volume, your squelch, your fine tune, your off gain.
The Panasonic 2 chassis actually had quite a few features. It's one of the big features is it is plate modulated. That's the big boy transmitters. The E.F. Johnson radios for ham use were all big plate modulated boat anchors, and so in a 5-watt DC input, to have the plate modulation always means you'll have some great audio. And is it culture shock going from the Messenger 2 with 2 knobs and a couple of lights to this beast? Over.
A little bit of a difference in the light situation. I'm looking at 5 possible lights there. A couple of buttons. One for the external speaker, one for the PA, and we've got your range expand, and also the squelch is a pull knob, so you can kind of adjust your tone.
Yeah, and we can actually do that on the changing the band spread a little bit and to listen into the upper side band of the AM or the lower side band of the AM, get out of the main carrier. And it's actually kind of a nice thing. Somebody mentioned, and this is a good question, is Bill, it's not the Yellow Robin, right? Well, the Yellow Robin is the next model, the T240D. And that was the radio that they had to make when the FCC said, everybody's going 40 channels, and not only that, we're going to make it against the rules. I say illegal, but against the rules to not only sell those radios anymore, but you got to have 40 channel radio if you're going to, do something. So all the manufacturers had to just stop what they were doing, retrofit the radios they had, which would have been this one, and then get them up to 20 or get them up to 40 channels. So this is probably like a 240D, but they just changed the color to the yellow bird. This one is the beautiful green Robin T123 Bravo. They got rid of the Magic Eye tube, but gave you a lot of other stuff, and I know yours has the extra switches, because that's one reason they went to 40 channels, because people would modify these radios back in the early 1970s and do 40 channels their own way. And so the FCC kind of wanted to own that. So they said, no longer can you sell those modified 23-channel radios. Get them out of here and start making ones that are type-accepted 40-channel radios. But I digress. Back to you, Joe. It's sounding good as always, and I'm not sure if you've got the midnight snack cooking up on the top of the radio or not. Over.
Dennis, doggone it, that's an idea for one of these occasions on one Saturday. Maybe I'll do that. Get the old sweetbread warming up on top of the grill there. I've got a little grill plate I can put up there and heat it up real quick. Okay, Dennis, I appreciate it a whole lot there. I'll get another one warmed up there and we'll get something else going.
All right, very good. We got another 10 minutes or so to go. Plenty of room on the list tonight. Got our listeners locally here on Channel 11, 27085, possibly at oldtuberadio.net, and a host of radio operators and shortwave listeners at the video site as well, wondering what we can come up with next. And we'll see what we get next week. I'm hoping we'll have some of those radios that Harvey mentioned out of the box and on the table and on the air, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. Thanks for Radio 3, the Robin T123B, and of course the Jingle Singers certainly approved, because this is their favorite place to be.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
I think we got a crossbands check-in. Let me check that out. Kilowatt Bravo 6, Germany, France, Denmark. Hello, radio.
Dennis, AJ6PD, SWR 145. Can I get a check-in, please?
Yeah, not a problem. But you're making it through the trees here really good, sounding good. We went through the questions. Again, thanks for passing those along. Always interesting, and hope you are making it through the windy evening tonight.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, 73 to you, KB6 GFD.
D6PD, and I'll be clear.
From the crossband, SWL 147.
D6 VLF for ID.
Yeah, I've got to coordinate my key ups here. When did CB radio become more complicated than trying to ride a bicycle? Still waiting for some, not like last week. By this time last week, we had talked to 709 in the Northwest. I think we had gotten a check-in from Hippopotamus. We had heard Dwayne and Chrissy up in Idaho. And tonight, we're just not getting the E-skip. I think it's you need a little more heat in the air to do that. Next week, though, perhaps. Yeah, Ron, I think we all did that. We all try to go bicycle mobile, trying to make some radio with a walkie-talkie or a battery. I even built a amplified microphone out of the audio amplifier, out of a little portable tape recorder, the kind that had the 3-inch reel-to-reel tapes and the microphone adjusted, and wire the amplifier output into the speaker jack, or the speaker, which is actually the microphone and the walkie-talkies, and then wire that up. And boy, it made a big difference to amplify and to get that speaker microphone out of there and amplify that. So it was fun times out there. And UDX 4570, a few extra degrees. Hey, Google, what is the current temperature? We'll see I think we're below 70 with all this wind.
In Fresno, it's currently 64 degrees.
64. How about that? I want to say hello to a couple other stations. Who's joined us? A lot of the unknowns. That could be Harvey. Harvey, don't break the law. Getting back to Fresno. A lot of wind. Hopefully you're not getting any dust out there. Any dust storms off of 99 or 5 or wherever you're coming through. Also, Ack on the Bozo control. Trying to get back into the wacky frequencies out there. Good stuff. OTR listening.
60.
Hey, Joe, I hear you. Take a transmission. I just, my papers just went on the floor here. I'm going to retrieve them while I listen to you. Over.
Yeah, you got your own windstorm going on in there. It sounds like it's same here, except this room is beginning to heat up a little bit. It's about 80 degrees in this room. I've got to crack a window, I think, open. Janice, I'd like to check in my Johnson 223, Messenger 223.
All right, I hear you. I'm just trying to get my paperwork back together. Let's go back to the control room here, maybe. Yeah, there it is. And the message, I think we're going to have an E.F. Johnson. Edgar F. would be proud tonight. We'll see, because the Brownings usually step in. The Brownings usually step in and take the program, but I think the Johnsons tonight are looking good. Go ahead with your transmission, Joe. Over.
Yeah, okay. Doggone it, Johnsons are climbing the ladder, that's for sure. Unfortunately, the Johnson TOO, I will be looking at right after the program. I've got already the meter system hooked up to it, so we can find out what's going on. Otherwise, we'll go to see the doctor. This one is 10 tubes, all 23 channels, and on the original stock mic.
Got a picture of the original stock mic. It's a Shure clone, or the Turner clone, I think. I think it's a Turner clone with the Johnson name across the push-to-talk bar, and it should have the Viking Head J logo on the microphone itself, and that's fallen off, and then right across the top, a messenger, and then a nice script in your grandmother's handwriting in the cursive 223, as though it were a very fancy fancy address up on the bluffs or something. Sounds good. Take a transmission.
Okay, I don't know. There's somebody keying up along, maybe with you. Said maybe they couldn't hear me. I don't know. Let's stand by for a little bit.
Dennis, I think you have a check-in on 2 meters here.
Okay, Joe, I might have a crossband check-in, so we will check that out. I'll be right back to you when I find the microphonium here. Hello, radio from KB6GFD listening. Should we get a crossband? My antenna is it's out of the trees per se, but it's still a little bit low. So if I get some altitude,
I
probably
don't hear
able
it,
to hear
Dennis, and your
some
power
stuff.
is low again. K6VLF.
All right, should be. Oh, now what? Uh-oh.
You too, bozo.
All right, we've got output there, but no output there. All right, I'm going to do a reset here, and I'll be right back. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
I think you need to take the clown car teeth away from Bozo for a while. Ruh-roh.
Well, I lost my connectivity here, it looks like.
Did you pay your black box bill?
Yeah, maybe not. My tuner isn't working either.
Yikes.
Does that help at all? Probably not.
Sounds like some mice got in the attic.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You never should have let Radio Boy tune up your equipment.
Oh, you were right on key, buddy.
All right, testing 1, 2. All right, well, that's not going to be good, but...
Well, that's 20.
All right, I'm doing a plan B here.
Yes.
All right, well, I get it, so at least I can finish up the net here.
You are readable.
All right, readable. We left off, let's see, we had the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, and your radio is working, Joe.
Well, you know, I almost have some doubts there with this wind blowing. I see it's doing its damages. I have a similar problem on this end. I need to look into, and I can see you were kind of going and coming there. So yeah, it's just kind of going around. On this one here, the Messenger 223, Dennis, 10 tubes, all 23 channels, and strictly base mobile.
Base mobile looking good. There no fires going on in the background tonight. Just a little bit of wind. So I'll just open the window. Sounding good. I've got you down for Radio 3. What else? The tuner's still not coming up, but that's okay. So I think I got you. I'll probably go ahead and sign out here so that there won't be any fires. But we did pretty good on the radios, and it's already 10:06. Time flies when you're having fun. What else have you got, Joe, before we get out of here? All right. I think the stuff that's supposed to be working is working okay. Who's joined us? Alex, hello, radio, boat anchor CB, radio repair. Repair is the right word right now. I think we're seem to be working. The tube part of it is working great around here.
Well, we don't know if this one is working, Dennis.
I think it is. Let me see if the jingle singers are working too. That's good. They're in.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
All right, Joe, what have you got over? Can you hear me, Joe? Over. He was on something that sounded good. a possible radio number 5. Maybe he did have the power output. I got to have the name. I can make an official check-in, but I got to have the name of what it was.
Oh, there's a gremlin running around on the channel.
Well, let me say, check-in-wise, we had 16 SWLs on page 1, 17 on page 2, 19 on page 3, and just keeps getting better, 23 on page 4 for a total of, I think that's 78. And so far, we have 4, possibly 5 radios, with the E.F. Johnson's being the most heard manufacturer, almost a full sweep. We did manage to bring in a Johnson T123B, and I'm thinking that there was another radio that wasn't a Johnson trying to check in there. Well, I think the 2 meter's working. It's more on my RF transmit end to the stations listening. The Universal Media NetWeb stuff is beaconing out good. And I agree. I think it's safe to call this an Edgar F. Johnson evening. Edgar F. Johnson and his wife Ethel, the company founded in 1923, and it began as a mail-order business selling radio transmitting parts to amateurs and early radio broadcasters from a space they shared with a woodworking shop located in downtown Waseca, Minnesota, believe it or not. We'll do the fanfare. That might work.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
So we'll blame it on Cliff tonight. He started with the E.F. Johnson Messenger Viking. The Viking Messenger won the Whiteface. Then we heard from Joe on the Messenger TWO. That was the next chronologically in line from E.F. Johnson as they worked through 1959 up through about 1968-69 when we got the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, which was not a mobile radio. It was their base station, but at that time, of course, Johnson was now producing solid-state radios that were much smaller and compact that could go mobile, but you can't beat the Johnson tube radios, their trio, the Messenger 2, and then the 223, with basically all the same radio combined with an S-meter, some newer updates, and a power supply all in the box. Looking good. The Robin T123, thanks, Joe. That was thrown in for some good measure, and the Old Tube Radio Network is hoping that we'll get back on the air with all our stuff here soon. Anyway, thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight, whether you were local or far, far away. And Larry, if you are still on, because we're still streaming, let everybody know what is going on again next Saturday. Over.
Yeah, next Saturday is the Fresno Amateur Radio Club swap meet. It's going to be at Lion Automotive on at 2944 Phillip Avenue in Clovis. nearest cross streets are Gettysburg and Close Avenue, and it starts at 8 a.m. and goes till about 1 p.m. There will be I've heard that there's going to be a lot of free stuff. As an old ham had passed away, some of his things will be in the free pile. I've heard it's going to be boxes and boxes of stuff, and the guy was a tinkerer, so lots of good items to be had for sure, and plus a bunch of stuff for sale as well. So come one, come all, bring your money, and all that good stuff. Next Saturday, the 24th. It's the Saturday on the 24th.
Yeah, they say the B-52s bring your Chrysler as big as a whale and your jukebox money and spend it on some radio gear. Yeah, Project Unknown, not only they're using the radios, but they sound good. They're in good condition. A lot of people have multiple collections here, and this is the forum, the Old Tube Radio Network, that allows people to get on, share them with other people we can get on, and maybe help them with microphone placement or adjustment or anything they want. So pretty good stuff. And at 10:15 Pacific Daylight Time, as the Pacific goes into their gray line, here comes Hawaii, Australia once again in the skip land. So even when the numbers are down, if the sun is in the right spot, the clouds are aligned, you will get some conditions. $72+1 to everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network signing off. And I hope Joe has got some power out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for some donuts now. And I think I found out my problem. It's a disconnected wire.
Aha!
But I'll turn on some lights and we'll see if that is indeed the problem here. So back in a couple of minutes.
Make sure to keep the radio on up to 11 o'clock tonight. You might get some of that Weird DX that I heard last night.
Oh, what was the craziness over?
It was Australia coming in.
Got burst.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, did you know there's a big 50th anniversary of the Route 66 coming up, I think?
On the air, they usually do one every year, but if this is like the 50th, it might be big.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be, the 50th.
All right, I've got to jump out of the air chair and get a screwdriver and some lights and connect this wire. And hopefully that will get me back to what I need to do. But all right, I'm going to shut down the video, the audio. Thanks for letting me intrude onto your Saturday evening. But I may come back if everything works with a happy face.
Well, I'll probably be out here. I can give you a signal report from Chestnut and Herndon.
All right, yeah, see, I was using the J38 key with some connections on that, and I look here, and my light is out, but I can see one of them is not connected to the J38 key, so I have a feeling that is what is not initializing my other piece of gear here.
Oh, we need to have John come over with his alligator clip lead.
Oh yeah, I've got a whole rack of alligator clip leads, and yeah, we've got the RC Cola and the Bacardi standing by. Foxman 362. I'm jump into some videos. Keep up the good work. I think the only reason skip is happening is because they're all trying to get on your live video feed. Oh, I hear some information from Charlie Oscar Papa. Thank you out there in Five Line, Frank. Route 66 on the air is September 6th through the 14th. So that would be another one. If you do it right, you can follow everybody around. I mean, you go to their site, right, and you figure out what band and where you can make it to the band and where the stations are going to be along the various routes. I filled in for somebody on the FM show on Tuesday morning, and I did a Route 66 music. And what I did is I tried to find, obviously, Nat King Cole's got the Route 66 song, and there's the various other things, but I found music that typically had the title of a city that was along Route 66, and I sort of worked my way from Chicago down through Santa Monica. It was pretty cool.
They've had to use old tube radios on Route 66.
Oh, well, they did that. One we showed tonight was in the Continental, like a 59 Continental, and in theory that was Elvis's Lincoln, but I don't know about that. And then, there might have been, what was the Wigwam? There was that motel, all the rooms looked like teepees, the Wigwam Motel or something. They probably had a CB antenna on one of those.
And don't forget the Baghdad Cafe.
And my Tombola, yes, there are screw posts on the J38. And obviously I need to probably tin the wires and do it a little bit better, but I see one dangling, and that is heading over to the tuner and then the push to talk, and I'm doing it a different way because there was some voltage coming off one of the lines, so I had to separate. So I have that's why you see me doing all the contortions. I'm doing 2 separate push to talks until I figure out, I think I need a 13-pin DIN connector for the radio to figure out that one, and then make sure there's no voltage on it. So, everything that is simple is complicated once again. That's why I like the J38 key. It kind of goes with the tube stuff. Okay, Frank in Texas, in Fiveland, works on the Texas. Oh, man, I can't remember what was was it Galveston? I can't remember what songs I played for Going Through Texas. Tucumcari? No, but the thing is, you can find enough songs that the titles of the songs are routes or cities along Route 66. All right, it's time for some RC Cola and moon pies. And then maybe some Tums after that. Good night, everybody. 72+1, the Old Tube Radio Network.
Dennis, before you go there, is this thing transmitting?
Yeah, you sound good. That was the one you came on at the last, because I will add that, but I didn't get the name of it over.
Oh, well, this is the TOO. I'm working on it. I'm thinking maybe I've got a faulty switch box. It's a real old one. It's an Elvani switch box, and she may need a little spray.
All right, no, it sounds really good. It sounds like it did when it first started, so that's okay. The radio you were on at the last, it's going to be radio number 5, and I think that was probably neither of the Johnsons. That's the one I didn't get to put on the list. So we could get our kicks on the OTR Route 66 list over.
Yeah, that was the 223, and then I keyed up I keyed up from World Radio Labs. That's the one we got lost.
Okay, yeah, it was that's what I thought. It's a WRL, so I will add that as Radio 5 because we got all the Johnsons. In fact, 75% of the radios checking tonight were from Edgar F.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, no, I've got the meter system hooked up on this one, and she's going from 3 to 5, about 3 to 5 watts. And the modulation's moving a hair there, so, yeah. I'm going to check that switch box. It's only got a couple of screws. Take it off, take it apart there, and see what's going on with it. It's got to be at least 50 years old.
Yeah. You don't want your coax to be 50 years old, but maybe something on the switch box. You can try that. All right, very good. We'll say good night. That's sounding good. So you can shore that one up. You did it good.
Good deal. All right. Good night, Dennis.
All right. So 72 plus 1, the old Tube Radio Network.
Good night, Larry.
Are we in stereo? I'm checking the internet for stereo.
Go ahead and proxy Joe in.
Okay, John boy.
Okay, I can't do more than 30 seconds of this because it'll be a copyright violation.
Is it too late to proxy you in?
Okay, sounds like we're in stereo.
Too late, Larry.
That's for the Irish guy out there. All right, let me pick this up. 26, 27, 28. All right, we should be okay. No copyright violation. The Old Tube Radio Network. Ah, yes, all that tech stuff, but which one can be more fun and more frustrating?